Okay. Greetings, all my dreamers and dreamettes. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, y'all know what to do to this channel. Make sure you guys subscribe right now. Also, like and share this live. It's going down today. I got a lot to talk to you guys about, and I gotta, just open your eyes and open your minds to new things and just different perspectives. So this live today is gonna. This I have a lot to talk about. Trust me, you guys. So you see the title. You see I got Diddy up there. We got a whole bunch of things to talk about. But I want you guys to get settled in, buckle your seatbelts, cause it's going down. I don't know where to start, but you guys want to start with the Diddy or okay? First of all, let's start with the Diddy. Now Diddy has an article in Rolling Stone, and it's talking about you know he had mentioned something like he would never give up Biggie's publishing over his dead body. And I thought to myself, that sounds like him, yeah. But what I really wanted I want to send some healing energy to all the victims out there who's just been a part of some of these demonic people out there. Don't y'all see what's happening? A lot of these people are trying to disguise themselves as regular people now. So now that they're seeing a mirror of themselves up through Diddy. There's a lot of P. Diddy's out there. There's a lot of P. Diddy's in the industry. There's a lot of them. And they're seeing themselves through a mirror at P. Diddy. And that's why things are so silent. And it's so sad that people are not even thinking about the victims. It's so easy for the abuser to say, I got therapy, I got help, I'm good now. What about the victims? Don't you see that they're traumatized and it takes them longer for them to heal? I see so many abusers out here that had the same things, and they're talking about how they healed and they went to a therapist and they getting themselves right. Did y'all ever think about the victims though? What about the victims? Can they love again? Can they trust again? So you see a lot of weird things going on in hip hop. But let's just start with the Diddy. Now, I also seen another interview where they said that with even the making of the band, he had robbed them for $40 million. Now you would think that the people are saying, I know he's an icon in hip hop, but just the people that he worked with in general, and when you just look at the list of people, it's all negativity. All of this information is coming from inside of his camp. So we have the abusers out here trying to act like victims. That's what we are seeing in these times. And they're trying to fool people and trying to disguise themselves like they're good people, but they're not. Toxic souls, you guys. Stay away from these people because they'll try to disguise themselves and act like they're one of us. Good-hearted people when they're not. How dare an abuser come out online and say anything about any healing before the victim? How dare you? How dare you? Think about this and think about how this whole setup is. It's just looking like the more people, it's like it's slowly fading away. They wanted to fade out the media slowly by slowly because you know what? It's a mirror of themselves. And I don't want you guys to go out there and just be blinded to what's going on or put a blindfold on to what's going on in hip hop because so many things can happen. But these are the things that stick to the wall, and these are the things that we have to take heed of. For all the females, if you're in New York City and you're living in the Bronx, you cannot be outside at a late time. If you're coming from work, Uber, Uber, taxi, Uber. Because if last night, if you guys missed it, you guys can punch this in and look it up. There was a lady walking in the Bronx, and she was coming from work. She was on her cell phone, and this guy, he was like following her for so long. And then he tried to grab her, pull on the floor. Now, you know what that was leading to. Of course, it wasn't a robbery. You know exactly what it was leading up to. It was going to lead up to some kind of sexual abuse, or you know what that was leading up to. So, in these times, I'm telling you, Queen, Stay away from people you can't trust. And when you're out there in these neighborhoods where crime is at an all-time high, and you see that the in hip hop everything is being sexualized. So people that don't have a steady mind or a right mind, that's what they're preying on weaker victims. And it just so happens that people, especially men, look down. The ones that look down on females, those are the ones that's going to take advantage and use their power because they're not really seeing any justice being served for them. You don't see that type of justice, so that it's pushing on, and it's kind of like it's almost more than mental health now. It's more than mental health. Just last night in the Bronx, this is what's happening. And we also wake up today to another 17-year-old driving recklessly with these. I guess he stole the Kia. What's up with making it so easy to steal these Kias? But he stole the Kia, he's running, racing like a 200 miles an hour. I don't know how fast the Kia was going. Hits a motorcyclist, kills him, and takes off. Cops chasing him. Like, what are we doing here? Do we see what's really going on? Do we see what's going on? Do you guys understand that these abusers are getting more out of life than the victims unless those victims stand up for themselves? So we never stop. We're never going to be stopping on this subject, and we're never going to stop believing in the what the victims at least hear their story, because their stories are trying to be faded away or washed away or paid away from people, from the abusers, and it's not right. It's Sexual abuse is not one thing you just turn on the internet and turn off, and then what's next on the news. No, it's a very deep subject, and it's something that you can never take back from a person. You hurt a person for life. And I see people get online, and it's always look out for the guys that saying, well, her story could be this, her story could be that. What do you mean her story could be this, her story could be that? Her story has been proven that she is not lying and she's telling the truth. So what usually happens is when you hear the guys saying things like that, they probably been through the similar situations. They was an abuser, and some way, somehow, they probably got through their situation. They're here, and they're now they're on edge, walking on eggs. Well, first of all, you shouldn't find yourself in these situations when you deal with the right females, number one. Number two, if you're out there and you're just dating aimlessly and wild, well, yeah, the chances are for you to bump into somebody that doesn't have love for you, and something like this could be possibility of this going on. Of course it is, because you're living recklessly. The reason why that it's more understandable at a younger age, because they're learning life. But if you're an adult and you're living like a younger person, yes, you're living recklessly. That's usually what happens. You find yourself in places and doing things that you possibly wouldn't have done without whatever you have, whatever your vices, whatever you chose, whether it's the white stuff, the drinks, whatever is leading you to be a different person and alter your ego to do something out of the norm, is that's probably where you're gonna end up. So I don't want to hear how don't I'm not championing any abusers. If you're caught up in a situation like this, and you haven't happened, and it wasn't your fault, or you was wrong, falsely acclaimed, then be quiet. This has nothing to do with you. Then be quiet. You don't put in your 2 cents about how it was falsely acclaimed when somebody else got proof of theirs being not false. What sense does it make? It just shows how much you care and how much you look down on women because of your situation. We all get hurt, but just because we get hurt, that doesn't mean we turn around and hurt the next person. What's that? What sense does that make? We got to do better out here. I see a lot of abusers now, like they're getting championed, and they're hiding because, number one, they know if they say one other thing, their baby mother will come out like, you've been abusing me for the longest. And females, please, you can't get mad at these other females for not knowing these types of situations. I hate to hear another female say, well, she should have knew better. No, she didn't know better. Not every female lives a certain way. Everybody has different lives they live, and sometimes people put their trust in other people's hands. What are we not understanding here? At first, people claim that this had everything to do with money, and when they realize it had nothing to do with money, then what it is? It's all about abuse. Taking your power and overdoing it on somebody and taking advantage of them. because you know inside that they probably wouldn't have want to even be with you. And just skipping around, y'all know how I do. Another thing, I seen Sean Kingston. I want to shout out. What's her name? I'm gonna make sure I get it right. Hold on. It's called. Her name is called Drea. Oh, the Drea O Show. Y'all gotta check this interview she did with AP the Jeweler. Now, AP the Jeweler has a story about Sean Kingston. Remember, I told you the last live I was gonna look into it a little bit more and see what was really going on with this whole Sean Kingston thing. But what now the picture that he painted of Sean Kingston, he got himself in trouble because Sean Kingston, he loves jewelry and he got this guy to go out there to get some jewelry and he started pulling these little funny moves and the little scams here and there and it ends up AP ends up catching a homicide because I don't know if Sean Kingston probably set him up but it just went bad. And what I got to say is that jewelry, you guys, that's lame. I'm telling you, it's lame. You guys, I've worked for a jeweler. Even though I only delivered from the jewelry from store to store, I learned a lot of things while I was around these people. And one thing that I did learn is a family business. And not every jeweler is selling the best of jewelry. And has nothing to do with AP or his brand or anything. I'm just saying, people are out there risking it all for the shiny stuff, and it makes no sense at all. It makes no sense at all. He starts going into, how Sean Kingston, he stays at his home and all he does is record inside, put on new clothes, and just, stays home and he scams people online. This is the type of lifestyle you can't do, especially not in these times. Being a celebrity and scamming somebody, that thing just hurts my stomach. It's like you got the opportunity and now you're going to take your opportunity and scam the people that don't have it as much as you. That right there, that hurt. And even though I sent clothes out there to Sean Kingston and his mom, just hearing that, it just made me say, you know what? That type of energy, those type of thoughts, doing those type of wrongs to people eventually catches back up with you. No matter how far you go, how far you travel, no matter where you hide, it will eventually catch back up to you. Because, I'm seeing 10 counts, 10 charges they have on Sean Kingston, as well as they're charging his mother. So this is like more like a family business that was going on here besides what I knew. All I knew was that Sean Kingston made good music, and his mom, she can really cook, and she had her business going, especially with the truck. I did not know that throughout all of this, behind the scenes, and this is just a warning to us in the black culture, period. Scamming, it ain't for us. I'm sorry. Because we're not going to, we know how this is going to end. And who are we scamming? Our own people? Like, let's make it make sense now. Because I'm seeing a lot of nonsense going on and people just championing it and championing it. I see grown men acting like kids. I see kids inheriting their parents' karma. And the parents are just like sitting there and with no explanation, knowing that that kid is going down the wrong way because of karma you brought into the family. Knowing you can't wipe the thing away. It's the reality of the abuser. It's the reality of the victim. It's the reality of today in these times that we're living right now. People are living foul and they're smiling in your face and their tails are rattling in the back. Their tails are just swinging all around in the back with their fingers crossed every time they say sorry. We gotta wake up to these type of things. We gotta wake up, y'all. We can't go out there blindfolded and just let hip hop fool us because of the beat. It's like we can't go through that. And just talking about hip hop, let's get into the Drake. Let's get into the Drake because I was so off of the whole Drake and Kendrick. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't listening to either Drake or Kendrick in between all the way up to now. I was kind of just tired of the whole thing. I was going back into like some old playlist and just listening over to music, and especially Rhapsody's album. But since we're getting back on Drake, now I'm hearing that there is another reference tracks popping up. I have two things to say about this. Two things to say about this. And I love Drake as an artist. I have two things to say. One, I could see, I'm not gonna fully go out there unless I know exactly, because the way internet and social media is going in these times, it could have been a person making these ghost tracks for Drake, about Drake, after he makes the track just to get clout. I don't know what's going on in these times. That could be possibility because of his past, and it's a come up. It's a come up. And hip hop, they'll feed you anything. It's a come up. Or this could be Drake, again. People are finding out reference tracks, and if just a little message to Drake. In these times, if that is true, if it's true, I'm not saying if it is or if it isn't, but if it's true, Drake, don't you think you need to quit with all the ghostwriting at this point in your life? You have made a certain amount of money where you don't have to put a time limit of when you drop. You can sit there and put music together. If we keep hearing the more ghost track, it doesn't really say too much for hip hop. Even though I know from even back in the day they had tons of ghost writers, and in hip hop is the first place they'll tell you they did it first, and meanwhile they're biting off of somebody they've seen in the streets or telling somebody else's story. I know what it is. It's a very hypocritical in hip hop. So that's the reason why I don't judge it like how everybody claims that, oh, my pen is so, your pen ain't more than anybody else's. You've been biting off your man's real lifestyle. You bite into if you want to go into biting. So I don't really look at it as like that. I look at it like, if you're doing that, why are you doing that? Use your talent that God gave you, and maybe that will resonate the classic album that your fans want to hear from you. And that's as much as I have to say with Drake. Now, as far as Kendrick, just drop an album. Just drop an album. I don't really want to hear any more about the Drake and Kendrick. They connecting these two guys like they brothers. They not. It's two different realms of music, and I don't think one can exist without the other. And that's just the truth, whether people want to hear it or they like it or not. They came up in the same era. They ended up at a place, and hip hop is not really in the best of space right now to be comparing and doing a bunch of verses. We need all the good music we can get. In other words, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm really actually saying. It's because when you really look at it, it's just like people concentrate more about what's happening behind the scenes before the music and the albums. Oh, he got this, he wrote it from here. Oh, Kendrick was looking out his window over there. Oh, he got shot over here. Like, number one, both of y'all are not gangsters. Regardless if Kendrick, I guess he's a part of the LA. Yeah, that's cool. But at the end of the day, the way we live in now, everybody in this lifetime, people will realize everybody is becoming an individual soldier because of not being able to trust the people around them. So eventually, everybody's going to be on an individual base. Trust me. You can't even. I've watched. I think it was the Art of Dialogue. Shout outs to the Art of Dialogue too for just some great interviews. I've been watching a lot of their interviews lately, and they had a bodyguard on there. He was just speaking nothing but the truth about these Diddy parties and the parties behind the scenes that people go to. And in my mind, I'm saying like the same rappers that's talking this young, they at the party. Oh, I don't go to the after party. How many after parties are they? The more after parties there are, there's going to be into the next day. You're at the party. That's the party, man. That's the party. Not only is that's the party, I did hear. I know you guys heard a little bit about. The list is like it's kind of like erasing the name, and it's kind of like scratching off the names here on the list. I heard something about allegedly about Busta Rhymes, and my whole thing is I don't want to make any accusations or anything like that, but this is just what I'm hearing, and the stuff that I'm hearing is nasty work. It's nasty work, and you can always tell the guys are so rah rah on the chicks, and when they see the fellas now, they hugging them up like they ain't that's their wife, like it's the wedding day. You could always tell. I'm telling you straight up from a grown man, just a grown man outlook of this whole situation. The game has a lot of funny business to it. A lot of people, they're not who they say they are. It's like the ones that talk down on the chicks probably sleeping with other guys, and the ones that's like champion certain people, they probably taking or getting their swag or stealing their swag from some other people. Remember I told you about Mace? If you guys know how much sweat equity Mace put into Bad Boy, the name should belong to him. I'm talking about Bad Boy took Mace's soul, everything he worked for, his swag, it's like they took his whole DNA and just slapped it on Bad Boy because Biggie was gone, and Diddy from that point was just like just taking all of the juice from Mace and trying to turn himself into that type of figure. Mace gets all the chicks. This we know from back in the day. I mean, at back in the day, I believe it was like the top guys going at the chicks. I think it was Mace and Jay. Mace Ben had everybody in hip hop already know that Mace Ben had all the ladies from the day when he stepped in the door. So of course Diddy was gonna be. Now we know find out his character. Of course he was gonna be jealous of that and want piece of that or want to be try to be like that man. I understand that because I've in my time growing up I've seen people that try to be like me. And this has nothing to do with popularity, but this just has everything about not knowing who you are as a person. And we see a lot of people mimicking other people's lives, but the parts that they mimic are all the negative and wrong parts. Why you can't mimic somebody with some kind of intelligence? Why it got to be somebody dumbing down themselves or just not seeing things for what it actually is? It's weird. It's a lot of weirdo energy I'm trying to just put you guys onto because they trying to fool people, y'all. They trying to fool y'all. I see like it's almost like hip hop is turned into this like Halloween thing. Like I could put on the outfit, act like it, maybe sell a few things and then dip. That ain't gonna work. Nowadays, if your authentic self doesn't come out on camera, then people understand and they feel the energy, they know you lying. It ain't no way around it. It ain't no way around it. And like I told you, in our culture, did y'all see the little girl trying to hold down her mom? Cops ran down on this lady and her little girl walking outside of like a shopping area, and they were saying that she stole something, whatever, from I guess a coat or a bag or something from this store. So when they ran down on her, like the little girl was so, she was defensive trying to hold down her mom. And I was just looking at that, y'all, and I'm in my head, I'm like, man, that little girl was almost like a grown woman the way she was talking, trying to hold down her mom, like, Mom, calm down. And I'm just like, man, are we moving too fast? Or are we moving too slow? I was just like, what is going on here? The trauma, number one, that kid is only gonna see authority in one way, the police in one way. And from that, what that kid has been seeing, you can tell that the way that little girl was trying to stop everything, she's seen what's been going on as far as violence, and she's very, very young to even know what that is. Like, to even know what that is. To say, wait, don't let this escalate to something else. To even know what that is as a little girl, that part was scary. That was scary. Like, the kids are seeing everything. And you can say by the time they get to like 17 and 18, these are the points where it is dangerous. It is dangerous. We need a lot more structure in the homes before we can step outside. Before we can say community, we have to understand that we have to fix ourselves. And I'm including myself in too, because I have a lot of fixing to do for myself. But how I see it and see how things are just crumbling. People think that society is on an upscale when it's crumbling. It's not. It's not just hip hop anymore. Hip hop is the theme music for this destructional time. That's what it is. Hip hop is like the theme music for destruction in these times. Now there's good music in hip hop. Like I told you, the Rhapsody album and a lot of other people putting out good music. But you have to dig for this stuff. It's not put in your face. It's not in the forefront. And these are the things that if you really care, these are the things that you will fight to be in the forefront. But who's fighting? Nobody's fighting. They're just listening to what the youth is saying, and the youth is just going off of the energy. We can't do that. healing energy to all the victims out in the world, man. Just let's put up some, let's get that healing energy out there, man, because a lot of people hurt right now. A lot of people, they didn't expect that today they was gonna be, dealing with the problems they had yesterday because something popped up and it just things happened. There's a lot of shootings going on, and innocent people are getting hit. It's not even like the shootings are going on and gangs are killing gangs. No, gangs are actually killing regular folks in the street and get online and then feel good about it because the only place that champions that is hip hop. There's no other place in the world you can go that champions this stuff. No other place in the world. In the world. Out of billions of people, there's no other place that champions crime and destruction like hip hop. We gotta change that. Now, just jumping into the murder mook, I've seen if you guys just giving a little recap, I've seen 15 Minutes of Fame. Shouts out to 15 Minutes of Fame. That's a YouTube channel that I always check their they have some great content on battle rap, and they did an interview, part one of the Murder Mook, just covering his situation. The last time we seen Murder Mook on live, and he was in his home, and he was having like family issues as well as the police coming into the home, and it just looked at all bad. And I have a few things to say on that, but before I want to say what I got to say about Mook and this whole situation, I want to say I do commend him because just if you, there's a lot of little things in there that I commended Mook for before we get into the whole situation. But one thing I commend Mook from in that situation was that I've never seen Mook stop himself and say, you know what? Nah. He was fighting with himself. It's like almost like I seen two Mooks there. Like you gotta understand, when a person is healing, especially rest in peace to his mother, because losing your mom, losing your dad, or somebody really close to you, to be honest with you, things will never be the same. You never get that out of you. So I wanna put that out there too, because I'm gonna break it down, and I'm just gonna break it down. I'm gonna kick it from my heart, and because I like Mook, and I also did a video a while on my other channel about Mook, and just feeling where he took it from with this battle rap. So for Mook, I feel like what we just saw in part one was a part of his healing. He's not fully healed yet, so don't take everything that you're hearing and just go off that, because there's a lot more healing to do. Now, like I told you, this whole Mook situation, I've seen not we're gonna have to rewind it back to where I first seen Mook. I'm like, that's different. Now I know about Harlem dudes as far as like, like stepping outside and wanting just to be fresh all day and just the money, the material things in Harlem plays a bigger part. When it comes to New York, the material things plays a little bigger part in Harlem. And I'm not gonna dive deep into it. I'm just gonna let you know what it is. And with Mook, I had seen him slipping a little bit earlier, but I'm not that close of I don't know him enough. This is something that the people around him should have tackled a while before this situation. When I've seen Mook, the way he drinks, I said, nah, he's better than that. He's better than that. I know he's better than that. He's better than that. He's not like, even though we could sip and do all this sipping, but I'm gonna tell you how I looked at him. To me, Mook has one of the greatest memories in battle rap. As far as his memory, the way he can remember his raps, always being on point with his raps, just being long-winded with his raps, and just having I don't pause nothing, just long-winded with his raps, having a great pen. Let me tell you what alcohol does to you. When you find out that it's going to be spaces in battle rap where you might not be getting paid as much, and things are just happening on the outside, and sometimes alcohol can be like it can be a Band-Aid for the pain. But when you heal yourself, it's also like you have to double heal yourself from alcohol too, because alcohol, after a while, when you're hurt and you're drinking, it it consumes you. And I seen that consumption in Mook, and I'm like, yo, he could do way better than that, because the way I seen Mook taking it was being like one of the heads in battle rap. And alcohol, it always leaves the same results, and I just know that from people in my family. And it takes your soul out of you, and you don't even know until you catch yourself. That's why I'm so happy he caught himself. He caught himself to the point where he started stopping himself in the middle of the conversation, saying, no, I was wrong for that. I know I was wrong, because he had some drama between him and his baby mother, and which is actually normal in relationships. But sometimes things can escalate and get out of hand. And sometimes if you're drinking for a long time and you don't realize the person that you're presenting is not the real you. And I feel like that's what happened in this situation. The things that he really loved and cared for, forget about the clothes, forget about the all the shiny and all the material stuff. When you're being a grown man, all that stuff, it doesn't really hold any value, even in Harlem. So when you put that stuff to the side and see that you have a family there, you have a legacy to fulfill. You have put in so much work in as far as the hip hop period, as far as your penmanship, being holding that number one spot, holding the top, I would say in the top five spot, depending on how people feel in these times. But when you really look at that, there was no alcohol involved in your success. When that came into play, it came as a bandage because of the pain you're going through, and it just life sometimes sucks, man. The way it can just snatch somebody that you love away from you, and it just changes you. So it's hard to. I just want him to put himself in a better place and get back out there and get his worth, and him and Loaded Lux and the people that we love out there, and T-Rex, get your health together. And you want to see your peoples out there and doing right, and I want to see him being happy, even if all the material stuff comes after, and he's in a better place. I'd rather him cheering and doing being the murder mook at that point. But when you add alcohol, I'll be honest with you, y'all. A little smoke here and there is good, or not. But when you bring into alcohol, I wouldn't trust these times with that stuff, man. I'm sorry. I know we've been doing it in hip hop for a long time, and it's been a part of it, but it ain't cool anymore, because you never know, that stuff could tear up your system and just turn you into a person that you're not. So for Murder Mook, man, I'm just hoping that that he can get back to the Murder Mook that we all still love. And there's another part two coming out, but just admitting to your wrongs when you have a high sense of pride shows a change in you. And I know that. I know what I'm talking about. Like, Mook don't like to admit when he's wrong. He'll fight you. He'll fight you to the end, because that's just Mook. But at the end of the day, when he put in that little, I seen him checking himself in between, like wanting to say it was this, but he said, "Nah, it ain't that. I know what it is. If I wasn't drinking, this probably wouldn't have happened." So he's correcting himself on the way. So we watching a man heal in the process of right now. And when you start your healing, it takes a while. So I don't want to just necessarily just say that he could come to a better place. I know he could come to a better place. And I just want all the battle rappers to know out there, it's not always about the money. Yeah, you got to get paid, but the culture means more. You guys kept the culture up. And sometimes you have people in the culture they want to take advantage of. I've seen this a lot. But you know your value, you stick to it, and you try to add new things to the culture, instead of falling into that bag of just take. Because what happens is, when the owners and everybody's doing, I'm not saying who, but when people are doing other people dirty, then what happens is people start to take on that trend, and they start doing people dirty too. So now everybody's in the ring trying to get what they can get. And that doesn't build a culture, it only tears it down. So I just want to give a lot of healing energy to Murder Mook. I'm glad to see him back online, not just jump into the battle, but just back and giving us a little taste of how he feels about it. I feel like he still has a lot more healing to do as he goes, but he'll learn. I feel like he'll learn, and the best thing for him I could say is stay close to the family. Your daughter. You said little things happen and the little girl end up getting hurt. I know you love your family, so try to just stay close to them and make your decisions based it upon what they would think too. Don't just see it through your eyes. when you're going out there. Kind of see it through what they're doing. Too. And you got to know that. Like I would look at it like with the passing of your mom. Um, I know you always keep it in your memory and keep it in your mind. Always keep that in your heart, and that's what would give you the strength to do things that you can't even imagine. Because I know you're way better than that. You're a top tier rapper. I look at Mook as like one of the top tiers. So I'm happy to see that he's making his steps to get back to himself. Why not? He's not like one of these guys out there that's just gonna take that and try to make right out. No, he's gonna. I feel like he's gonna get back out there. And he's gonna be the murder Mook that he once was, instead of just letting like the alcohol and all these vices take control of him. Because the older you get, man, you don't want to lose what you got up here. What you got up here is your mental. That's the thing you got to protect in these times. Because sometimes you get on these type of stuff these vices, and you'll never get back to the real person that you once were. So don't risk it, man. You got a lot more in your journey to go. There's a lot of other things that I see battle rap hasn't touched yet, and they can take it to new heights, but they're just so stagnated because everybody's in everybody's pockets. But really, I feel like a lot of battle rappers that's out there now should have been rich and should have been in a better place. But being that they're not, you can't cry over spilled milk. You just got to continue on with a better outlook of where you want to take it. And yeah, that's what I got to say about just about the whole Murder Mook situation. So you guys go check out that interview on 15 minutes. It's really deep. I'm thinking they might drop part 2 today. But that's, I'm just much love to Murder Mook. Thank God, because things could have escalated. There's cops in the house. Things could have went so left. Thank God it didn't. Because you see me in a couple hours. I'm like, yo, what's up with Mook? But I have to realize to myself now, wait, hold on. He's probably in his heal. He's trying to heal. So you can't stop people from, trying to get themselves right. Sometimes it's not about getting right online, and sometimes it's about getting right offline. So I can applaud that. Now, back to Sean Kingston, man. Just I don't know if it's because people adapt this, like being that it's like when if you sign a bad contract or you get done a certain way in the industry, that thing seems like it doesn't rub off. It rubs off on people, and then when they start their own business or when they go out there to try to connect to other people, that's the only way they know how to do business, because that's the only way people did business with them. And it's sad out there. That's not how you should conduct business. And I think at this point in time, we should have seen way more billionaires in hip hop. That's how you know the game is so people are stealing, they're in it for self, man. It's not a place where people can gather together, because everybody has different CPMs, or everybody has different payouts. Everybody has different lifestyles, but the only thing that they see in common is, okay, we have a whole bunch of money. But meanwhile, there's people out there fronting, don't even have it. They're just out there with the fame. Their fame says they're millionaires, but their reality says that they're struggling. So they have to come online and show themselves in a certain way to try to get back to a place where they once were. And we know that they're not going to get back to that place, even if they think they're going to get back to that place, because they haven't got anywhere, and because they was fronting in the first place. They would never understand that. It's crazy. Abusers, you got to be careful. Abusers nowadays, they're trying to disguise themselves as victims, talking about, oh, they heal. And of course you're going to heal faster than the victim. I mean, come on, my goodness. Have some decency. Have some decency. Think about the victims. Victims, this thing could last a lifetime for people. People don't just get abused and just go on with their life like like it's regular. No, this thing, even in the Bronx, with that same situation I was telling you about, that girl that guy, he grabbed her from the back by her throat, and then she had a little strength to push him off, to fight him off a little bit. But then a lot of people in the neighborhood, it was late, but they heard her screaming, and they came out, and he just took off running. But what he doesn't understand is, even though he got away, she's left with trauma. She's not going to be able to walk on a late night. She's going to be looking back. She was on her phone. She's not going to be the same person. And that little of just surprise left that lady with trauma. But he runs off. He runs off into the wind, and he just like that, and he's off to the next person, and the next person he wants to abuse. It doesn't work like that. Eventually, what's going to happen is people is going to start taking justice in their own hands, and people with these type of allegations and these type of things that don't get justice, people are going to take justice in their own hands and go get them themselves. You're going to see a war. It will catch up. People don't have time for talking with this karma and this and that. You see how fat things are moving in these times? People want this. It's like the best way to put it, it's like I would say like hurting people is way easier for them to stay in that like in that type of energy because it disguises who they are. You don't really when a person is hurting somebody, you can't really tell who they are. You're like, because they're hurt. Hold on. Yes. Yep. There's tons of people out here manipulating people. That's like that manipulation that runs the world in these times. Especially with the AI and everything. Trust me when on that. You know, we don't want to get into that. That manipulation stuff. Another thing I wanted to tell you guys, look at Mike Tyson. That's a thing that I'm seeing here. Mike Tyson, I heal the energy out to Mike Tyson. But if you ask me, why are you out like I have a feeling. I'm not this is just my assumption that it had something to do with like edibles or some kind of the world is high. And I don't think he should take the fight with with Jake Paul. But and if he and unless he really needs that bag, I don't know anybody's money. I don't Google people's net worth and believe in all of that stuff. So I don't know why he took the fight. But if he did take the fight, I just wish him well, and I don't want to see Mike Tyson hurt, obviously, because I don't feel like it's gonna do anything to his legacy, but I just feel like just health wise and just being an older man and having to go back into that fighting with a younger, and they have the benefits towards Jake because they don't want him getting hurt. I see they got so many different things set up for him not to get hurt, but on Mike Tyson's side, it's kind of like okay, just give him padded gloves because they know how real it can get. It's kind of like man, it's like everybody's putting on this show, and it doesn't matter who gets hurt at this show as long as everybody paid for their tickets for the seat. And that's just like how the whole industry is moving right now. Can't be part of that. It's not like I didn't know somebody's gonna get killed on Memorial, but I just hope that it didn't happen. Just hope for one time. But you know, the devil just he's always he's always fighting to get first place or he's fighting to get in front of the camera before somebody that actually really means it. The devil's always gonna jump on the camera first and tell you, oh, this is what it this is how oh I'm healed. This is please. You're not fooling anybody in these times but yourself. Hold on you guys. Let me get a little sippy sip, but okay. For real, for real. What's up, y'all? If y'all want to support the brand, support the brand. I got some new drops in this today. Y'all got to go check it out. But I'm going to put the link under this live after I'm finished. And I have some dope drops. I got a dope hoodie. I know I want to see somebody style it, but people just buy it. And nowadays it's hard to keep up with how they wear it or when they wear it. And so I don't know. Today I'm working also on a 5 t-shirt collection where you're gonna have to pick up all 5 pieces and they're all gonna have different colorways. It's gonna be really dope. I don't want to give it away the surprise, but I'm gonna be working on that. And also I have an animation coming for you guys tonight at 12 a.m. Tonight at 12, y'all gonna see the new animation. It's really crazy. It's about a little boy named Justin. So keep that in mind. And And my last one, it was about a little girl named Kimmy. I want you guys to check that out. If you haven't seen my last animation, it's there. It's y'all can check it out after this. But tonight at 12 a.m., I'm having the new animation. It's about a little boy named Justin. I can't give it away, but trust me, it's gonna be really really dope. The first episode that I did was on this little girl named Kimmy, and she was being abused from ever since a child all the way up to her adult age, and it kind of played a part in her dating and her relationships. And when you figure it all out, how that came to be, this story is really deep. So that's the one that I have out now. The Kimmy I have out right now, but Justin, it will be dropping tonight at 12, and I hope you guys like and support that too. Make sure you guys like this live up today. I couldn't wait to get to you guys because I've seen a lot of nonsense going on, and I see a lot of people stepping in the way of the victims and just trying to get their stories out, try to get in front of them, just because a lot of victims right now are, some of them, we are seeing more people speak up, but you have to understand how many people that don't have a voice, or that the person that they've been abused by is might not be as popular, or people don't have that image of, or some understanding of that person to even want to delve into that story. So just seeing that somebody in a higher stature is going through the same thing as people are going through in their everyday life, it's always going to be triggering, but it's also helping people in society to say, you know what, I'm going to speak up no matter where this goes, and who takes this, I'm going to tell my truth. And that's the part of it that I think that's good. That's a part of change that will also change the world. People not being afraid to tell their story, because that's usually what it is. It's like people want to tell their story, and they wanted their story to just be on a rising scale, like going all the way up, and they just did it. They got back at all of the people that didn't like them. But usually the story doesn't really go like that. Usually the story goes where you're up, you're making a lot of mistakes, and you're trying to catch yourself, and just something happens out of the blue, and you connect with somebody out of nowhere, or something like that. There's always a little bit of magic in everybody's story, and when you don't hear that magic, you know that story's been altered, or somebody's just telling you a straight fib or a lie, because everybody has God included in their story, whether you believe him or not. You might just say it's not God, but you might blame it on the energy or whatever, but it's really God just doing his work. And something magic, is something happens at a time, and you just can't believe, oh, I can't believe that happened. That's God putting his hand on you. That's God touching his people and letting them know it's your time. It's your time. It's your time. And the more we connect with each other, is the more people that's going to have a different outlook of what's really going on and what's happening in our society. I mean, it's coming to a point where the females, they can't be out at a certain time of night without somebody there to support them or help them, because we have a lot of crazy people in these boroughs that they're, being that online is so sexualized, they might not be able to get what they want and get with the person that they want to do things the right way, and they just want to take from people. And what people don't understand, when you take something from somebody, so something, you know what I'm talking about. When you do the R to somebody and you take that from somebody, you take something for life from out of them. It's selfish. It's something that you can never take back, and you can, of course, sure, you can say that you're healed and it'll never happen again, and sure, you can say all of those, but what about the victims? That's my whole thing. What about the victims? The victims that curl up and hide because they're so hurt inside. What about them? Nobody's like paying no. It's kind of like it's all like about this focus on money still. I hear it. I hear it. You can't hide it. It's all about a focus on money. And to be honest with you, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. As God is my witness, man, them demons ain't gonna live long enough to spend that money. Can I get an amen? Them demons ain't gonna live long enough to spend that money. They don't even know that yet. They think they passing it on to their kids, and meanwhile, karma is racing through there like it's in the Olympics. Don't let them fool you. They just in front right now trying to find out how they is any that you can. You see a lot of these demons on their. You feel like on their deathbed, you're gonna be able to speak to God. Think about it. If you didn't believe in God your whole life, what makes you think that you sit on your deathbed and you're gonna believe in Him then? Don't you think he might be busy with his angels out there and people putting out the good word? Don't you think he might be busy at that point? Think about it. You have to, if you know what's wrong, if you know right from wrong, you make the change right there. Right there, you make the change. You see what's going on. You don't have to always, just because a person is a celebrity and they make their mistakes, you don't always have to agree with them. A lot of you guys could do more to help them than just following these people. It's nothing wrong with wanting to be, strive for something better in life. But when I hear people, it's disgusting in these points. We're in 2024 and I still hear some kids saying how they looked up to the drug dealer. Looking up to what drug dealer? Drugs are legal at this point. Some of these drug dealers, we can tell they have no business structure about them because they can't even get the legalized work for them to even sell the damn weed. But they some drug dealer. There's a lot of drug dealers that they were failed drug dealers. So looking up to that type of things, what? That's more than low tier. There's so many things you can do with your life besides just selling drugs. That don't make you no entrepreneur. Just because you're selling something that another person gets addicted to, you think you did something in life? That's not, no. People are selling you a bunch of mumbo jumbo, telling you how they doing this and that with money. All they're trying to do is get your mind numb, get you high so you can just keep feeding them money. So they can eventually implode from all the nonsense that they're taking inside of their selves. I'm not going for it. You live a happier life when you understand and you see things for what it is. I'm telling you. You're like, oh, he's fronting. He's fronting. People want to be this. It's almost like you want to be the OG, but you ain't got the knowledge to be that OG. Like the only thing you can pass on to the youth is how to protect themselves or some street stuff. That don't make no sense. You can't pass on a trait. You can't tell them, oh, this is how my father taught me to do this, or this is how you run a business, this is how you get an LLC. You can't do none of that. But you can tell them, yo, you gotta make sure you wear this and make sure you look back when you turn the corner over here. You ain't an OG. Just beat it. Society needs more people that can think for themselves and just be more creative about themselves instead of looking up to other people and doing what they did. Because then we'll have a cycle of people not doing anything at all. In the world, the most selfish people you'll always see the same common mistakes. Bad relationships. Taking advantage of people that really love them. Lies. Going behind people back, talking about them, telling people about other people, and you don't really even know them, and telling them about who they are when you really don't even know who you are. All these people you talk about and all the nonsense you've been spewing out to other people about other people, it really all has to deal with you. See, what people don't understand in these times is people see people for who they are. There's a lot of people on here, they're still blinded to the fame, and they're still falling into it like, oh, they celebrities, I'll do anything to be like them. But then there's other people looking like, wait. And taking a better look at how things is going and understanding people for who they actually are. I seen Vivica Fox talking about, she's still looking for, Vivi. Vivi, if you're still looking for love, don't announce it on social media. That ain't the best place. Do that offline, because social media is going to be the place where they're going to see that what you want and they're going to try to contaminate that. Don't do that online. Tell people in interviews. They don't have to know about your love life. They don't have, and no, it's nobody's business. If you want to fall in love again, you want to start over in your love relationships, keep it offline. And when you do find that person, make sure it's a while before you bring it online. Make sure you have it more structured out. Not like a lot of these females jump online and just throw a guy up there, and then another chick see him and like, yo, that's my baby father. All that nonsense been going on for years. We gotta cut that crap out. If you're dealing with somebody, why this should be somebody else in the mix? Like, what sense does that make? You know what I mean? People in the world there is where people could have fresh starts and have things going for them, but you dating him and he's dating her and she's dating her, and he don't even know it. It's a lot of disconnection and people just trying to play the role in these times, and that's why it's so hard to find love for the people that really want to find it, because you never know who you know who's being presented until you see the real person. You know, I see it all the time. Because out here you got a lot of people, they're hurt already, so that's how they go on with their life. Meanwhile, hurting people is a sickness. And in these times, revenge is the medicine. So if you hurt somebody, they're gonna be revengeful as whether they jump back at you or do it to the next person. It's like an ongoing cycle. So in between, you can't find love in all that nonsense. You're living through it like a reality show. You think those reality shows, those relationships last? No, they don't last. Only if they had a relationship before the reality show. But let them think they found love on that show with the world's eyes on them. And let's see how long that will last. Not long. Not long. You gotta love in privacy. Before you take it out to the world and say, this is my partner, y'all gotta love each other enough in privacy to say, this is what we doing. We don't need anybody else to know what we doing. We just enjoying each other's time, and we don't have time for the nonsense outside. So you wouldn't even want to be part of that. Put up the picture fake stuff, you know? I see a lot of females, they putting pictures up of their baby father from years ago. Guy look like he's still in high school. The picture like he's still in high school. It's like, he ain't there with you. You don't have to do that. You don't have to put up that image just because you want it to be that way, because you never know what God has for you. You putting up that image now, come on now. I told you a lot of people married right now, they're not married to their soulmate. You're going to hear a lot of people saying, oh, she's my soulmate, this and that, but nah. If you have to come online and talk about your soulmate, it's something wrong. It's something wrong. It's just something about that. It don't seem right. In these times, what we're seeing is a lot of people just playing parts of other people. So when you see somebody and you see it like, oh, they're just a shell of, well, you could just tell, like, when a fake person, this is how you could easily tell a fake person. If there was like a good show on last night, you can see it in that person. Like, they're just be like acting like part of the character of the show from last night. They're always like a chameleon to different things. It's like, who are you? Who are you? There's a miscommunication in hip hop. There's a disconnection. And do I want to hear Drake and Kendrick anymore? I don't. I don't. Drake, you got to get it together. All these references. I don't know. I don't know if people are doing this just to like crack a joke. They're doing it after you make the song and they put the ghost. They do a ghost of it, act like it's a leak, and now they blow up too. That could be a thing. I mean, these times anything can happen. So I don't know, man. Just get the music right. Get the music right. And for the MCs and all the artists coming up, I would say write your own music. A lot of these guys in the past, they haven't written it. Even some of the R&B too. I don't want to hear R&B. R&B, write your own music. Taylor Swift writes her own music. Cutting that off. We cutting that off. Write your own music. You see Taylor Swift, she writes her own music. Is it muted, y'all? A lot of these R&B people, they don't write their own music. Just start doing stuff for you. Stop letting other people write your whole life. That ain't cool. Make sure what you're doing is you doing it. That's what I would say to the youth. Write your own stuff. And connect with a producer to make something that's, worth it. Instead of having people write your life. Because usually what they can write you in anything. You can't do anything when somebody has to do it for you. Come on now, we gotta do better than that. I don't even want to hear, and it's not even about who's better than who anymore. It's that we all gotta do better. I don't. It doesn't really matter who's number one in hip hop anymore. It really doesn't. It was I mean, it was so arguable from back then, and now we're seeing it's like it just separates people. Who cares who's number one? What about who has the best music out? You see Nicki Minaj touring around the world. She's putting her brand out there. She's fighting for her brand. That's what these artists should do. And Nicki pens everything. She pens all her music. That's another thing. Nicki pens everything. I don't want to hear about how you can't write the music. No, you gotta write your music. You have to. So people can know it's coming from you. It'll make it worth a lot more. Even if you make a mistake, just scribble it out. Work on your stuff, man. Stop letting these other people get involved in your business. You mean to tell me if your man did you wrong last night, you can't write about him in the morning? You gotta go jot off a couple things you want to say to some writer and he has to write it for you? Think about it. You'll be so dope if you could just, as he do that, boom, 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 put it to the paper and go. That's how it works. It doesn't matter how quick you can get it out. Work on your stuff. So Drake, if that is a thing, like if it is a thing of, you have so much money, you don't need ghostwriters. And enough with helping, you know what? I see this all the time. I've seen you help so many artists in this game, including the 21 Savages. I even heard a rap that from the 21 Spit that it sounded like Drake wrote it. And I'm just telling you the truth. It sounded like Drake wrote the whole thing, and you're giving all these rappers these stimulus packages, helping them out to get to certain heights because you want to fit into a game that doesn't treat you as it should. I understand why you're doing what you're doing. We grown, we know what you're doing, but at the end of the day, don't you see these are the same people turning around and pointing the finger right at you because you're better than them. You can do better than that. They're going to turn around and point you out. It's common sense. It's common sense. Stop having all these people around you, your craft. Stop. And at the end of the day, big up to J. Cole because I understand now. I see why all this messy stuff, yeah, it's not for everybody. I don't care how many people want to see you in the gauntlet, in the pit fighting. At the end of the day, the only thing you're going to be fighting for is your legacy when people don't want to listen to you anymore. You know how many rappers right now, people, they can throw out their music and people don't listen? So it's a blessing that when you drop your music, that people do have ears to it. So take that in heat and start writing your own stuff to all artists out there. Don't let these guys fool you. Back in the day, there was tons of ghostwriters writing their hooks, writing their songs. They've been going through the same thing. That's why the reason they can't say anything. Trust me, they're just saying that because at the end of the day, it's a new school. It took over they want better substance. That's what it is. But as far as ghostwriting, that's been going from back in the day. Trust me. Don't let anybody fool you. What happens is they've took so many things they got ghostwritten that they started working off of that and try to ghostwrite for other people. But when you get in the realm of ghostwriting, the whole thing is just a big circle. You can't take who's from who. Some of the top rappers has got ghostwritten. Who cares? At this point, the more better the music, the culture can build. Not saying who's better than who. That's not gonna build a culture. It's not gonna build a culture. It's not cool at all. I see a lot of people just here, they just trying to get their money together, but money together to go where? Don't you see what's happening in these big festivals? They're chopping off some of these festivals because the music that you put out there, it's not gathering worthy. When people gather with that type of music, violence happens. Does that? That's not even. That won't even. That to me, that is a short-term investment. A long-term investment would be making a song that will be a jingle that will last a lifetime. They're taking short-term investments where they invest in these songs that's just for now music that's going to talk about so-and-so from around the corner. Like, what are we doing here? That's a short-term investment in the song anyway. A long-term investment would be taking the music and making the most profit out of what you put down. So if you have a song that is jingly and you think it can trend, it can go around the world, start putting it into, get it into some commercials because the AI is taking all the commercials. Get it into sell it with some fashion. Do something with your music besides just going out there and just putting it in somebody else's hands and letting them be in charge of it. Stand for something. A lot of these guys like, oh, I've been doing this, but you haven't been doing anything. You've been making mistakes on camera. A lot of these people, they've been built on pride, so their pride is the pride is the thing that's going to hold them back. This I know, I see it every day. Not only does pride hold you back in music, pride holds you back in health, and pride holds you back in when it comes to business. It is what it is. You can't beat it. It wins every single time. If you don't know how to check yourself, you don't know how to stop and have a meter for yourself when you're taking things a little too far, you will go off the edge and nobody is going to be there to catch you. You're going to land on your back or on your head. So that's what I have to say for today's episode. Just make sure, man, whatever you put out there, make sure it's original. Make sure, look at the designs. I don't go out there and try to bite nobody or try to take nobody's style, but let somebody try to do that to me. Yeah, I'm suing. You know what it is, y'all. Y'all already know what it is because my paperwork is straight. That's what it's about. And don't think, I've seen something on YouTube where this person, he was talking about how, you know, somebody took his trademark of his name, and so they can't do that to you. Number one, if you know anything about trademarks, they can't do that to you. If somebody just takes your name, if you have proof that you was using the name before, it doesn't just start when the person pays. No, you have to have good lawyers with you that let you to show that from the time when you started working with that trademark, even if you didn't get it paid for at that time, it still counts all the way to the time of this proof of purchase and the things that you put that trademark on or whatever you're selling. You have a fight. So nobody just can't just take your name and just trademark unless they had the name already and was using the name. It's not just about, you can't just buy up a whole bunch of trademarks and don't use them. Whoever told you that is a liar. They're lying to you. Trust me, when it comes to business, I don't got no reason to come up here and lie. You cannot like just buy a whole bunch of people's names and just trademark it and think that you just own it. No, when you trademark it something, it has to be in use. It has to be, you have to be using it for some reason. You have to have it in business. You can't just buy it and let it sit there like a website name. That's not how trademark works, y'all. The government is cracking down on, especially when it comes down to entrepreneurs not doing the right things or going the right way to getting the money. Trust me, this has been happening a long time. That's why they came down on hip hop, because of the DJs not, they taking money straight hand or mixtapes, and that's the reason why that, you know, the government cracked down on that, because they have no, let's just say it was the reverse stream, like streaming. You don't know where the money's coming from. It was the other way around. They don't know where the money's, you're getting the money from. And that's the same way with trademark. And it has to be filed of the things that you started. So say you can't pay for your trademark and you've been working on this name for like the whole year and you've been selling products with whatever name you have. Somebody, it's going to be a fight. But if somebody goes and pays for that name of that trademark, and you can prove that from all this time, as long as you're willing to pay for the name and you have some ways of paying for the name, all the way up to this time, you have proof that you've been using that name. And that's how trademark works. You can't just see somebody's name and say, oh, I'm going to trademark it to spite them. They can get themselves in a lot of trouble doing things like that. So it doesn't make sense, and it's just a waste of time and a waste of money, and definitely, like I would always tell you, a waste of energy. So don't believe that stuff. That's not how trademark works. Trust me. I own a business. It's not the first business I own, and I have other things going on around me that, you know, I've learned from the right people. And it's not always what people think. You can, as a regular person, it's not like in hip hop where they have like a little step over you because they have a larger following. When it comes time to the government and businesses, you have the same laws as everybody else, and everything's going to start at an equal platform because of just, number one, the money is going to them on both ends. So at the end of the day, they're going to get a piece of it anyway, but they just want to make sure the right person is getting, you know, the right things. So that's when it comes down to trademarks. That's what this is all about. When it comes down to YouTube, a lot of the content is going to be changed because of AI and things like that. So we're going to see a lot of content that has, like, you know, destruction, or you know what I'm talking about in it. Like some people would say the dirty section of YouTube. That stuff is not going to get any CPMs, and they're gonna be most likely the ones without their channels. You know, channels will be taken down. But if you have something of substance and you're just reporting and you're just doing it the right way, you're good. You're straight. You don't have to worry about anything. That's just how it's been working. And we're seeing a lot of, I've even read in the news that YouTube just added like this new thing about people just using ad blockers and they're cutting back on that too. So people are watching the videos, and the videos not even coming on because they have ad blockers connected to their stuff. And in my head, I'm like, ad blockers? Why would somebody do that when they know the content creator is getting paid their hard time and effort, and they just want to block it? So that's just weird. So I'm glad they got that out of there so that people, they can't just come and take advantage, because so many people are getting taken advantage of in this world. Why add more? Why would we need to add more? That's the way I look at it. I feel like anybody in this world that's holding people back, y'all need to get up out of here. For real. Y'all ain't doing this world no purpose. Y'all just out here trying to scam people and talk about or take from people. You get up out of here. This ain't a place for you, man. Y'all need to find the truth within yourselves, and y'all need to fix and heal yourself before somebody heal yourself for you, and not in the right way. People got this, and it's like, and and look at how hip hop does it. You can just look at Diddy. He feels like he can come back and just throw in a sad face and just tell you guys anything and you believe it. Now he's not going for everybody because he knows that some people's not gonna fall for it. But you know, the youth and things like that have fallen for it in the past. Even some people in the hip hop community coming from some harsh environments, they're so used to the hurt that they're willing to, you know, brush it off because other people they know has been through these situations. Well, if you know other people through these situations, it means that you're not standing up for anything anyway. So you're not even supposed to be here or even talk. Stand up for something, and instead of stand up for something besides yourself, I would say. Because people would love to stand up for themselves with the switches pointed right at their own people. But when it comes time to stand up for like, you know, the right cause or some health benefits to the kids, or opening some youth and community, youth like PAL or some place they can go to learn maybe tech stuff. You don't got, y'all ain't out there with that. I have billions and billions of dollars. All you talk about is money this, money that, but I don't see the money going into the kids. Or nah, how much do you give the community? Can you put it on a scale and show people? Because you know, in these times, truth, it can, you know, you can show people, you know. Or are you still on the I'm gonna take while I try to act like I'm something I'm not? You're not fooling anybody. So that's what I got for you all this morning. And I'm tonight 12 a.m. or you can say tomorrow morning, but you know, tonight at 12, you're gonna see the new animation. I'm dropping it. It's Justin is gonna be the main character. And I want you guys to let me know what you think. Like and share this live right now. Show me some love and just share it around. Give me some likes. Show me some love. Love you guys. And if you want to support the brand, it's Inspired by Dreams with 3Z's and the Dreams .shop. And yeah, I got everything in there from beanies to hoodies, t-shirts, and I'm gonna be working on a lot of other new stuff, man. And yeah, man, that's what I got for you guys today. I see you guys Friday, right? Right, Friday. I see you guys. Love you. Peace. And make sure y'all keep God first and stay away from the abusers. They only confuse us.